You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet pull, that knowing that someone, somewhere, is thinking of you so intently that you can almost feel their thoughts brushing against your own. It's as if your name has been whispered into the wind 1,000 times, and the air itself hums with your memory. There's something magical about it, almost divine. You might call it telepathy, energy, connection, but at its heart, it's simply awareness recognizing itself. When two souls are so deeply tuned to the same frequency of thought, distance doesn't matter. Silence doesn't matter. The invisible becomes visible in the most extraordinary ways. But let's go deeper. Because what you're really feeling is not someone else's obsession with you. It's the reflection of your own power. The universe has no mirror except consciousness itself. Everything that returns to you, every thought that seems to circle your life again and again, is your own energy calling back home. If they can't stop thinking about you, it's because your spirit has already impressed its image upon their mind. You have been seen, known, and remembered in ways words could never express. Not because of desperation, but because the law of imagination always responds perfectly. You are the seed planted in the fertile ground of another's awareness, and now it's blooming in the garden of their thoughts. The truth is, there is no separation. There's only the one mind, dreaming infinite dreams. What we call telepathy is simply recognition of that oneness. You think of them, and before you even finish the thought, they are stirred. You feel them reaching out, and somehow your heart beats a little faster, not because you're imagining it, but because imagination is creation. The ancient writings said, "Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear." That's not poetry. That's a law. It means that every thought, every feeling, every mental picture is already known by the greater consciousness that sustains all things. When you dwell lovingly on someone, when you imagine being adored, remembered, wanted, that love must find expression. It travels through invisible channels, through dreams, through impulses, through songs that suddenly play at the perfect moment. And maybe that's why lately their name keeps appearing everywhere. Maybe that's why you wake up in the middle of the night with their face in your mind. Maybe that's why you can feel their presence like a shadow beside you, warm and familiar. They're hooked on you because consciousness cannot escape its own creation. But here's the secret that few ever realize. The real goal is not to make them think of you. The real goal is to know that you are already one with what you desire. The connection you feel is proof of that oneness. You don't have to chase, convince, or beg for attention. You simply rest in the knowing that what is yours by divine right is drawn to you with irresistible power. When you live in that faith, your energy becomes magnetic. Your thoughts become commands, not requests. And that's when the world begins to echo your inner song. You see, obsession, in its purest form, is simply intense focus. And when that focus is charged with love instead of fear, it becomes creation. So instead of wondering if they're thinking about you, know that your imagined reality is already established in the unseen. Let your heart speak the language of certainty. Feel what it's like to be so completely loved, so completely desired, that your very being radiates confidence. Because when you live in that feeling long enough, the outer world must bow to it. You are not waiting for someone's validation. You are the source of the signal. The moment you imagine being cherished, the law begins its perfect work. It sends your vibration out like light through the cosmos, and whoever matches that light cannot help but respond. It's beautiful, really, how divine order works without effort. The one you love suddenly feels restless. They think of you at random times. They dream of you. They replay conversations in their mind. They may not even know why, but you do. Because you've planted the seed. You've claimed the feeling. And what is claimed within must unfold without. As it was written, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. That isn't a promise to the desperate. It's a reminder to the Creator. You are not pleading for love. You are expressing it. You are not trying to convince someone to notice you. You are becoming the one who is always noticed. You must understand that the thoughts you entertain are living things. They go forth and return, clothed in form. When you persist in the inner conviction that you are loved, adored, and remembered, that conviction begins to rearrange the outer world to reflect itself. That's the real telepathy, the silent communication of faith. So if someone is hooked on you, If they can't stop thinking about you, if you feel their pull like the tide, know that this is simply consciousness harmonizing with its own echo. You have called forth that connection by the certainty of your inner state. You've imagined it so purely, so lovingly, that reality has no choice but to comply. Do not fear the intensity of it. Don't think of it as obsession. Think of it as alignment. The more you live in love, the more love seeks you. The more you dwell in the idea of being wanted, the more those who are ready to reflect that back to you rise into your experience. You are the artist of your life, painting with thought and emotion. The moment you stop worrying about how or when and simply bask in the knowing that it is done, everything changes. The energy around you becomes soft, magnetic, irresistible. People feel it before you even speak. You walk into a room and the air shifts. You post something online and they can't scroll past because you are carrying the energy of fulfillment, not longing. Remember, imagination never lies. If you can see it clearly, if you can feel it deeply, it's already yours. Every image that lingers lovingly in your mind is a prophecy waiting to be fulfilled. You don't need to force it into being. You only need to persist in the joy of knowing it's already accomplished. Think of love not as pursuit, but as remembrance. You are remembering who you really are, the one who is infinitely loved, infinitely desired, infinitely chosen. And in that remembrance, others begin to remember too. They see you with new eyes, hear you in new ways, feel a pull they can't explain, because the truth is calling to them through you. So if you feel them thinking of you, smile. Take a breath and know that it's the law in motion. You have stirred the waters of consciousness, and now the ripples are returning. Let them come. Let love unfold naturally. Don't chase it, embody it. Don't doubt it, declare it. Stand in your quiet power and say within yourself, I am the one they think of. I am the one they desire. I am the one who is loved freely, deeply, and joyfully. Feel those words until they vibrate through your entire being. Then release them into the silence with gratitude. You don't have to check signs or ask for proof. The proof is already within you, in your peace, your confidence, your faith. The invisible realm always moves first. The outer world simply catches up. So when you sense that someone is hooked on you, take it as a reminder of your own creative power. Not a reason to inflate your ego, but a reason to deepen your faith. Because what you experience through others is always a reflection of what you believe about yourself. If you believe you are lovable, the world will show you love. If you believe you are forgotten, it will echo absence. So choose today what you wish to experience. Choose love, not lack. Choose certainty, not fear. And then watch, quietly, calmly, as the universe rearranges itself to match the vision you've held. The person, the message, the call, the encounter. All of it will unfold in divine timing, effortlessly. Because nothing can resist the vibration of one who knows they are already loved. You don't need to control it. You don't need to chase it. Just rest in the knowing it is done. And in that stillness, the whole world begins to echo your truth. They're hooked on you, not because you demanded it, but because you finally remembered who you are. The beloved, the creator, the one who imagines and therefore becomes. So go on, imagine boldly, love deeply, and live as though the dream were already real. Because in the language of spirit, it already is. And as you breathe into this truth, something inside you softens. You realize that there's no competition, no waiting, no striving, only being. You were never trying to make them notice you. You are awakening to the fact that you are the notice itself. You are the vibration that commands attention simply by existing. When the mind quiets and the heart opens, the energy between you and them becomes pure, uncomplicated, natural. There's no fear of losing, no anxiety about what they feel. Because in this higher knowing, you understand that every thought you send is already received. Every image you hold is already shared. Every loving assumption is a bridge connecting you both in the unseen. Think about the moments when you've suddenly thought of someone, and then your phone lights up with their name. Think about those nights you dream of them, only to wake up feeling their presence so vividly it's almost physical. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations, gentle reminders from the universe that thought and energy are living, breathing forces. What you focus on expands. What you love deeply becomes magnetic. You might notice signs, a song that speaks the exact words you felt, a number that repeats, a chance encounter that feels perfectly timed. These are not random. They're reflections of your inner conviction. Every moment you choose to rest in the feeling of being loved, the outer world bends to match it. And the beauty of it all is that it's effortless. You're not forcing anyone's will. You're not manipulating energy. You're simply standing in truth. The truth that love is your natural state. When you stand there long enough, love rushes to meet you in every form it can find. Sometimes through that specific person, sometimes through new faces, sometimes through opportunities that expand your life in ways you couldn't have planned. You begin to understand that being hooked is not about possession but reflection. The intensity of someone's attention is a mirror of your own power to assume. When you assume you are unforgettable, you become unforgettable. When you assume you are adored, you are adored. The law doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality, it only responds to belief. So instead of wondering what they're thinking, turn that focus inward. Ask yourself, what am I assuming right now? Am I dwelling in fear or in faith? Am I expecting loss or am I resting in love? Because the answer to that question writes the script of your experience. When you live in the energy of being chosen, your world begins to arrange itself accordingly. Conversations shift, people approach you differently, opportunities open. Even the one you've been thinking about begins to feel that invisible pull. They don't know why they suddenly feel drawn to you. They just do. It's the vibration of certainty calling them home. You are not separate from them. You are not waiting for them. You are both expressions of the same divine mind, weaving the same story from different angles. And the moment you stop resisting and start allowing, everything aligns in perfect harmony. The connection deepens not because of words or actions, but because of awareness. When you close your eyes and see them looking at you with love, when you feel their arms around you, when you imagine hearing them say, I can't stop thinking about you, that is creation in motion. You don't need to wait for it to happen. You only need to accept that it already has. There's a peace that comes when you finally let go of the need to control the outer and begin to trust the unseen. You stop chasing, stop checking, stop doubting. You live from the end, the place where your desire is already fulfilled. And from that state, every movement of life conspires to show you evidence of what you've already accepted within. Even when you don't see results right away, even when it looks like nothing is happening, hold your inner vision steady. Remember, the unseen always ripens before the seen. Just as a seed grows in the dark before breaking through the soil, your desire is unfolding in silence, perfectly timed, perfectly guided. Every time you choose to imagine the best, you water that seed. Every time you affirm that you are loved, you strengthen the root. Every time you feel gratitude before the manifestation, you hasten its bloom. This is the true, telepathic connection, not words flying through the air, but faith speaking directly to faith. And they feel it. Oh, they feel it more than they'll ever admit. They sense your energy in their quiet moments, in the spaces between distractions. They remember your voice when they least expect it. Something in them is drawn, again and again, to the thought of you. That's not an accident. That's the law returning your own assumption. Don't be surprised when they reach out, when they show up, when they say they can't stop thinking about you. You've been living in that reality long before it appeared. You've built the bridge with your imagination, and now they're simply walking across it. Stay gentle with yourself during this process. Let love be light, not heavy. Let it flow, not force. Because the more at ease you are, the stronger the connection becomes. True creation is never born from tension, it blooms from peace. Keep reminding yourself, I am the vibration of love. I am the one they feel. I am the one they remember. I am already united with what I desire. Feel those words until they no longer feel like words, but truth. And when doubt tries to whisper, smile, because doubt is just the echo of an old belief fading away. The moment you choose faith again, the noise quiets. The moment you return to love, everything falls back into rhythm. You don't need to do more. You don't need to prove anything. Just keep dwelling in the end, in that beautiful place where you and your desire are already one. See it clearly, feel it fully, live it inwardly, and soon the outer world will mirror it so perfectly, it will feel like magic. The truth is, you've always been magnetic. You've always been the spark that lights the connection. The only thing that ever hid that truth was forgetting who you are. But now you're remembering. You're seeing how thought shapes form, how love transcends distance, how your imagination commands reality. So let this remembrance stay with you. Let it color your words, your steps, your presence. Because the more you dwell in this inner knowing, the more the outer world will echo back the same message. That everything you seek is already yours, and every mind that matches your frequency cannot help but be drawn to you. You begin to notice how life bends itself in subtle ways to affirm what you've already claimed in spirit. A sudden message appears when you're calm and expectant. A stranger says something that mirrors the very words you've been affirming. Songs, symbols, colors, everything starts to whisper the same truth back to you. It's already done. There's a softness that comes with that realization. You stop needing proof because the proof is in your peace. You stop scanning the horizon for signs because you've learned that the greatest sign of all is the feeling within you. The moment you feel at rest, you know that the manifestation has been accepted by the deeper mind and nothing can stop it from appearing. This is the state where obsession transforms into harmony. It's no longer about wanting someone to think of you. It's about knowing that you both exist in the same current of divine love. You are not reaching out to grasp them. You are allowing them to be drawn to the radiance you now embody. That radiance is irresistible because it carries no resistance. And the beautiful thing is that others begin to notice it too. Not just the one you've been focused on, but everyone around you. They feel the shift in your energy, that quiet assurance, that invisible glow. They don't know what changed, but they sense it. You've become someone who no longer asks, will they think of me? But who simply knows they already are. You live now as though you are constantly surrounded by affection, because in truth you are. Every glance you give, every word you speak, carries the vibration of one who is loved, and that energy multiplies. The people you meet respond to you with warmth, opportunities open effortlessly. Life mirrors your inner ease. Sometimes, when the night is quiet, you can almost feel their thoughts moving toward you, gentle waves brushing against your awareness. You don't reach out to catch them, you just smile because you know the connection is alive and thriving. It doesn't need to be spoken to be real. It exists in that sacred silence where words fall away and only understanding remains. When doubt tries to return, you remind yourself that the feeling of separation is only a shadow. It can't exist where light has been turned on. You don't fight it, you simply choose again. Choose love, choose faith, choose the end you've already seen. And as you do, the shadows dissolve quietly, effortlessly. It becomes clear now that everything you once sought outside of yourself was simply a reflection waiting to be recognized within. The telepathic pull, the signs, the synchronicities, they were never random miracles. They were answers to your own inner assumption of union. You spoke in the language of imagination, and the universe replied in the language of experience. So you keep speaking gently and consistently. You speak through feeling, through vision, through belief. You wake each day knowing that unseen forces are working in your favor, that love is weaving its way through every circumstance, aligning every detail to match the image you hold. You begin to see that the outer world is malleable, not fixed, not separate, but fluid, bending easily to the touch of your awareness. The moment you think lovingly, the fabric of reality rearranges itself in quiet obedience. There's no struggle, no delay, only divine timing, which is always perfect. Every morning you rise with a quiet certainty. You might say within yourself, the connection is alive and complete. All that I have imagined is already mine. You say it not as a wish, but as a statement of truth. You let that truth fill your breath, your thoughts, your gestures. And because the world is consciousness made visible, everything you encounter begins to reflect it back to you. Sometimes the reflection appears instantly, sometimes gradually, but it always appears. The person you love feels drawn closer. Communication flows more easily. Circumstances unfold in ways that seem almost orchestrated. Yet it all happens so naturally that you can only smile and whisper, of course. And in those moments, gratitude washes over you, not for something newly gained, but for something remembered. You realize that this was never about convincing another to love you. It was about realizing that love was always there, waiting for you to claim it in consciousness. You had only to believe long enough to see it. As you move through your day, your mind becomes a sacred space. You no longer allow fear to build altars there. You fill it instead with visions of beauty, joy, and peace. Every thought becomes a prayer, every feeling a decree. You begin to understand that the most powerful telepathy in the world is love that knows itself to be real. And so you walk in quiet confidence, carrying the awareness that everything you touch is transformed by the light you bring. You don't chase, you don't wait, you simply allow. You allow love to find its perfect expression through you, through them, through everything that unfolds. Even when moments of silence come, when things appear still, you no longer interpret it as absence. You know that the silence is full of movement, full of creation, full of the unseen becoming seen. You trust it completely. The connection hums softly in the background of your awareness like a familiar melody. It doesn't demand attention, it simply exists, steady, warm, constant. You don't need to do anything to maintain it because it was never built on effort. It was born of knowing, and knowing never fades. Each day you live from that inner center. The world around you keeps unfolding in harmony with your inner world. Conversations that once felt uncertain now flow naturally. Encounters that seemed accidental now feel divinely timed. You can feel the invisible thread weaving everything together, and you realize that you are not just a participant. You are the weaver. Every heartbeat, every breath, every loving assumption sends ripples through the great ocean of mind, and those ripples return to you as experience, as reflection, as people who cannot stop thinking of you, because they are caught in the current of your faith. And now, as the words settle into your heart, you can feel the quiet truth vibrating beneath it all. You were never waiting to be chosen, never waiting to be seen. You were simply waiting to remember the infinite power that already lives within you. The love that you've been seeking has been pulsing in your own heartbeat all along. The connection, the pull, the signs, they were never proof of someone else's obsession, but reflections of your own divine magnetism. You are the source of it all, the sender and the receiver, the dreamer and the dream. Every thought you've sent in faith, every image you've held in love, is now gathering form, returning home to you clothed in the beauty of your belief. So stand tall in that knowing. Speak softly to yourself and say, I am loved beyond measure. I am unforgettable. I am the energy that calls forth devotion and harmony effortlessly. Feel those words as truth, because they are. Let this be the moment you release all fear, all waiting, all doubt, and step fully into the awareness that you are the miracle. The world bends to your faith. Love answers to your name. Every heart that matches your light will find you, not because you chased them, but because your spirit made them remember. And as you walk forward, carry this truth gently but powerfully. You are not just someone they're hooked on. You are the one consciousness chose to express its own love through. You are the heartbeat of the divine, made visible. And the whole universe is already responding to your song. Tack es för arwadnumich